It's a really cool movie. I'm here with Eric Aronson, writer and director of Any Day Now. And I gotta say, so watching this movie, this is like one of those rare movies that I watch when it starts off and I'm like, oh, okay, I know what this is. But then as it goes on, it's not exactly what you would think. It's like you think, oh, this is gonna be a heist movie, gangster kind of thing, and then it becomes more of a relationship, almost a family drama. And it's really interesting and caught me off guard, not in a twist way, but in kind of a expectation way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do. My hope was always to take a genre and undercut it with something that I was much more interested in, which is exactly what you just described, the relationships and the people. And I love performance and I want to see people. That's the stuff that interests me. Let someone else do the Ocean's 11 version of this.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Ocean's 11, but
Nothing wrong, but I don't have the budget to do an Ocean's 11, nor do I have the inclination.
what brought this story to you? I know it's based on a true story, but what got you interested in this project to begin with?
I've been a screenwriter for Hollywood for 25 years. So I worked a lot of stuff credited, some stuff credited, a lot of stuff uncredited. I worked on a lot of movies and none of it ever felt, the final product ever really felt like what my voice sounded like to me. So I saved up for many years and waited a long time to make this movie. And I live in Boston. So in my lifetime, there are two great myths in my city. One is Whitey Bulger and the other is the Gardner heist. And Whitey Bulger's not funny.
But you've done a lot of screenwriting. You said you've been unhappy or unsatisfied with how some of the stuff has turned out. Like, what's some of the challenges you got going in, like when you do screenwriting? It's, oh, why are you doing that, or so on and so forth.
It's more of like a feeling. It's more of a tonal thing because film is really a director's medium. So I'll write something and it has a very peculiar voice because I'm a very peculiar person, I think. And it comes out when you give it in a director's hand. You never know what they're thinking and they take it in whichever direction they want. So it could be the same words, but just the whole idea behind it is so different. And it's not that I resent it necessarily. It's more like it's a different craft. I've come to accept it. It's like kabuki theater. Like it can be done really well, but it's extremely stylized. So you want to see a Hollywood movie and you know what you're in for. It's this and this. You get what you would ask, and that can be very satisfying. But I think the responsibility of independent film is to explore other ways of telling stories. And that's what I wanted to do. And that's why I came home and wanted to make this movie.
Yeah, that's where I think kind of inform your own directing style.
Yeah. What really informed I don't know if I have a style. This is my first film. So I think you need 2 or 3 films to actually have a style. But what influenced me, the whole idea of this was, we don't have a lot of money, but I don't like independent film. I didn't feel for myself that I wanted to make a small independent film with 4 characters in a house. You see a lot of those, whether they're horror films or independent films, because it's cheaper and you get a lot more out of it. I'm somewhere in between independent and Hollywood, and I didn't want to have to choose. So that's why my biggest influence is actually like American noir films, then what the French did to the American noir films, which is turned on its head. So I want to take a genre like a heist film, and my experiment was how much can I put the heist in the background and put the characters and their relationships and the stupid stuff that people do and say in the foreground.
So did you know you were going to direct this as you were writing it, or was this something that you wrote and then figured out that you could make the movie? I guess what I'm getting at is, did budget or anything come into play as you were writing this?
100%. Like that, I set out to write this in a particular way so that I could shoot it, so that it would be in my hometown that I know. And it was not, a lot of the events are off screen. That's also what I really love about some of my favorite directors. When they start out, you can't really afford to shoot the heist itself that much. So what you do is you shoot the after effect. So I was thinking about Reservoir Dogs did a really good job of that. The whole movie was in one scene in a diner and one scene in a warehouse. That's so smart. So I designed it to be within a budget that I could make. And I designed it to express my voice, which is a little more off.
Now, let's say going in, say you got a blank check Does this movie look much different then, or do you write a different movie that's, oh, I got $100 million, now I can make this movie instead?
Our philosophy all along was to solve problems creatively rather than with money. No, I love the restriction of not having a lot of money. In fact, our society pushes us to always think, oh, we got to do better and we got to do bigger. Our next film has to be even bigger. I actually think the less money you take from somebody else, the less money everything costs, the more control you have, and the more personal it becomes. And you can tell your story. So my next film I might want to make, I'm thinking about making it. Can I make it even cheaper? And can I get the same bang for my buck? And can I be creative about it and make it feel a lot bigger while costing less? That's a really interesting problem that I think I want to dive into.
What are some, with the restrictions that you're talking about, what's some stuff that made its way into Any Day Now that might not have came out the way it did had you had the keys to the kingdom, so to speak? Oh, we had to find an interesting way, and actually this interesting way became a more interesting scene or a thing or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of it was, yeah, a lot of my favorite scenes in the movie are scenes that are in people's cars that are shot just as we went around. We found really great locations that showed the city. So when you don't have a budget, you can't, it's really hard to do a period film. That's a mistake. You do not want to be working with horses, and you do not want to be working in a period. Mine's obviously not horses, 1990, but so we decided to choose locations where if you turn the camera 360 degrees, it still looked like Boston from 1990. So we didn't have to spend all that money to dress the set. And it also was less distracting for me. And we didn't use big cranes, and we didn't use all that stuff, all the tools that you actually don't need. It's not my language anyway. I don't understand what a crane is unless you tell me the story of a bird. So it helped to do that. The biggest thing really, I think, was keeping the events off camera in a lot of ways. We could show little pieces of the museum, little here, little there. And by showing a little bit, it's more like your input, your mind can fill in the blank, the rest. So yeah, if we had a full museum to use and we could run around the place, would it be that much different? It might be, but I don't think it would look that different. And I don't think it would be that much better because of it. So it allowed me to not worry about he picks up this thing and he does that, and we have to show that he breaks into this corner, and then that thing has to open. Like, it allowed me to put the plot aside and underneath and focus on what I wanted to, which was the people reacting to it. What would you do if you were really in this situation rather than in a movie set?
Yeah. And so Any Day Now comes out any day now, on May 20th, specifically on Amazon and Apple. So congratulations on that. And I guess we'll just end with, and you seem someone that could probably get an interesting answer on this. Looking for a movie recommendation from you, something that you really like, that it's like, this movie's really good and no one talks about it.
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. What's my favorite? I keep a list. Hang on, let me check my list.
Oh, I'll take the whole list.
I'll text you this list, but let me see my list here. Let's see. A lot of the movies I love, like, I'm in between. I love Hollywood films. I still write, by the way, for Hollywood. I still do that. It's just a different hat, and being aware of it is really important. Not trying to get my independent ideas into Hollywood films because they just don't want them. So I still love, there are Hollywood films that I really love, but there are movies that like really influenced me a lot. Shoot the Piano Player is a Truffaut film, and I stole a lot of that from into this movie. There's some Wong Kar-wai moments. We'd show up on set and I'd say, oh, let's try this. There was this amazing scene in this Wong Kar-wai film, Chungking Express, that I just loved the way the actors, it was the cameras on the side and their two faces went in. And I was like, let's try that. So I think those were influences specifically for this film, but the films that I've loved, Gomorrah is amazing. Not enough people have seen that. The Sweet Nothing, I love that movie. There's Don't Touch the Loot, that's on my list. But then I also love True Romance, Punch Drunk Love, Boogie Nights. So yeah, so what else have I seen? This year, I'm Still Here was amazing. I don't know if you saw that, the Brazilian movie. Incredible. Incredible. And that's really creative. It was about, is it Brazilian or is it Chilean? I think it was in Chile, but the opening shot it's in 1970 in Rio. And the opening shot is of a Rio beach of, I think it's the Copacabana, but everybody's in period costumes. There's helicopters flying over. It's this big thing. And then the rest of the movie is shot inside someone's house. So it felt really big, but they got away with it by being really clever, by saving money here and there. I think there's a real creativity in how you dance with money in films, and you get to do that dance. I think that was my favorite from this year. And last year I loved Totem. I thought that from Mexico, that was my favorite. That was far and away the most breathtaking film I saw last year. So those are my two from the last couple of years.
All right. Yeah, those are some great picks. And I never even heard of Totem, so that would be a fun one to check out.
Oh, it'll knock your socks off. Again, the whole thing takes place in someone's house and from the point of view of a child in that house. And it's just incredible and beautiful.
Excellent. Eric, congratulations on Any Day Now, and I wish you all the success. And thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.